Sabrat Devotion, friend, motivator, and guide to IAS aspirant, international motivational speaker, leadership tendency, a coach, political strategist, and policy advisor. Source of news is the Hindu newspaper. Hong Kong police swoop on protesters. Nearly 300 people demonstrating against the postponed mental isolation polls. National security law held. Nearly 300 people were arrested by Hong Kong police on Sunday as a riots officers swooped on democracy protest. Protesters opposed to the postponement of the local elections. Sunday was meant to be voting day for the city's partially elected legislature, one of the few instances where residents of the Hong Kong get to cast ballots. But the city pro-Beijing leader Carrie Lam suspended the polls for a year, citing the coronavirus angering the pro-democracy opposition who had been hoping to capitalize on the seething anti-government sentiment. Hundreds of the riot police flooded the district of the Kowloon in a bid to thwart online calls for the flash mob protester to mark the suspended vote. Throughout the afternoon, officers were heckled by people shouting slogans such as "Give me back my vote" and "Corrupt cops" as officers conducted multiple stop and searches ordered crowds to disperse. In a Facebook statement, police said at least 289 people were arrested, mostly for the unlawful assembly. One woman was detained under a new security law Beijing imposed on the city for chanting independence slogans, the force added. Close old power plants, save 53,000 crore. Saving will accrue from the vote not having to spend on their upkeep, says report. Shutting down thermal power plants older 20 years in 11 key states can save the exchequer 53,000 crore over 5 years, says an analysis climate change origin. The savings will accrue from not having to spend on the retrofitting these plants to reduce the toxicity of their emission, as well as switching to renewable energy, the authors estimate. These projections also come at a time when India has announced plans to auction 41 coal mining blocks in ostensible bid to be less reliant on imported coal. Surplus capacity. Several of the power distributions companies, DISCOMs, are financially stressed through India has surplus power generation capacity, while the free power of agriculture and power theft on one reason, the author's opinion. Another is that several states have installed capacity based on projections that are far in the excess of actual requirement. The surplus generous capacity, notwithstanding an additional of 60,000 megawatt thermal power, is officially under construction across the country, with another 29,000 megawatt in the proposal permitting stage. Government suspend FCRA clearance of 4 Christians group. US-based donor agencies also under Home Ministry scanner. Of the 6 NGOs whose license under the Foreign Contributions Regulation FCRA was suspended by the Union Home Minister this year, 4 are Christians Association and FCRA is a license mandatory for a non-profit organization to receive foreign funds. At least 2 US-based Christian donors are also under the ministry scanner of the funding NGOs and the groups. Here, a senior government official said. Under the lens, a total of 22,457 NGOs or associations at present registered under FCRA. The licenses of 20,674 have been cancelled, and those of 6,702 are deemed to be expired. Sabrang Trust, an NGO run by social activist Tista Stelwad and lawyers collective run by noted lawyer Indira Jaising, lost their FCRA registration in 2016. 8 foreign donors came under the government watch list during the UPA regime, and 13 after the Modi government came to power in 2014. Among them, the Compassion International and World Movement for Democracy. A foreign donor placed under the watch list or prior permission category cannot directly send money without the Union Home Minister's clearance. The next news is Keswanand Bharti, a savior of Constitution. Keswanand Bharti Swami, who passed away on Sunday, was the sole unwitting petitioner in the historic fundamental rights case, which prevented the nation from the slipping into a totalitarian regime. Though the judgment is a landmark case, he did not win any relief in the case. The amendments in the Kerala land reforms law Kerala law reforms which he had challenged were upheld by the Supreme Court in 1973. It was advocate Nani Palkiwal representing Swamiji who extended the ambit of the case. Mr. Palkiwal saw opportunity through the Swamiji case to challenge a series of constitutional amendments introduced by Indira Gandhi government granting unlimited power to parliament to alter the constitution. Courtroom genius. Biography of Mr. Nani Palkiwal authored by a senior advocate Soli Sarabji and Arvind Datar, said the seer never met or spoke with the great liar. In fact, the book said Swamiji was quite surprised at the time to see his name in the newspaper every day and wondered why his case challenging only certain land reforms in the Kerala was taking so long. Court's drift and the clinks in the judiciary armor. This past fortnight has been two significant developments in the connections with the Indian judiciary. The first was the decision of the Supreme Court in India, the matter of Prashant Bhushan contempt case, and the second was the retirement Justice Arun Misra. These events in their own way magnify the chinks in the armor of the Supreme Court. The Bhushan case. In the first instance, the Supreme Court, in the display of the self-proclaimed magnanimity, let off Mr. Bhushan with a fine of 1 rupee in the contempt case against his 2 tweets. In the alternative, the top court ordered for a 3-month imprisonment term and the 3 years debarment from the practice. The court chastised him conduct which, according to the court, reflects advance and ego, which has no place to exist in the system of the administration and justice, and in enable profession and to remorse is shown for harm done to the situation to which he belongs. So it's the one factor from the Lakshmikant book. What I want to say, important facts, very important. Elephant was adopted as the symbol of the Constituent Assembly. Sir B.N. Rao was appointed as the constitutional advisor, legal advisor to the Constituent Assembly. H.V.R. Iyengar was the Secretary of Constituent Assembly. S.N. Mukherjee was the Chief Draftsman of the Constitution in the Constituent Assembly. Prem Bihari Narayan Raja was the calligrapher of the Indian Constitution. The original Constitution was handwritten by him in a flowing italic style. The original version was beautified and decorated by artists from the Santiniketan, including Nandalal Bose and Behor Ram Manohar Sinha. Behor Ram Manohar Sinha illuminated, beautified and ornamented the original preamble, calligraphed by Prem Bihari Narayan Rajda. The calligraphy of the Hindi version of the original constitution was done by the Vasant Krishnan Vaidya and elegantly decorated and illuminated by Nand Lal Bose. This fact I have taken from Polity book M. Lakshmikant. Thank you so much.